Hey guys, what's going on? We're back today with a fun project. We're assembling today a Tao 250 utility ATV. Cheap Chinese four-wheeler, but with a little simple care and a little simple maintenance could last a while. Now we're not saying this is a Honda, it's not a Yamaha, it is a Tao, but this is going to be part of my second channel that I've just created. It's Masses Dash Outdoors, all right here on YouTube. Well, let's get ready with this assembly process and let's get it together. Guys, as you see that after the shipping company, which this one came through was UPS, after they drop them off, they're going to come in kind of like what you see here. You're going to have a giant cardboard box sitting on a pallet. First step what we're going to do, start cutting it open. Always keep a handy knife. Just go ahead and start cutting up all this. Don't worry about hurting anything, because as you open it, what you're going to find is, well, we're just going to barely cut. And I've already done a couple of these. And what you're going to do is you're going to peel all this back. And what you're going to see is, what you're going to start revealing is, you're going to find a metal angle iron frame. And you'll start revealing the four-wheeler or your ATV or whatever the off-road toy. But this, in this case, is the 250 utility Tao. So let's go ahead and get all the cardboard peeled back and expose this metal cage that's going to be around there. Alright guys, what you're going to find now that once you have the entire cardboard taken off, you're going to find basically a skeleton right around the whole entire ATV. Now the easy thing is you're going to need what I'm using is a half-inch boxed wrench and 9/16 socket. Get good quality tools, and what we're going to do is go around and you're going to find 4 of these mounting posts on the top. There's 2 here. There's going to be 1 there and 1 there. What you're going to do is go ahead, undo these 4 at the top. Then if you look down here at the bottom, you got 1 here, 1 there, and so on. You're going to find 4 across this side and 4 on the other. And what it's going to do is allow this this whole top of the cage to lift right off. So that's going to be the next step. Go ahead and use your simple hand tools. Go ahead and unbolt this. And what I would recommend is go ahead and keep in the nuts and bolts. They're always good for a little nut and bin drawer. You'd be surprised. Keep stuff like this handy. Has nylon lock nuts on the inside. Probably usable, probably not. For a quick fix for something else, it definitely would be something recommended. So next, let's go ahead and pull these off and pull the cage off this thing. Alright guys, this is what's going to happen after removing the plastic that covers the ATV. I'm able to remove it without completely having to take the frame off. And the reason I haven't took it off yet is if you notice right here, right there is going to be an Allen head screw. Now this is going to go through the steering where you would bolt your steering up. Now in order to get that, like I don't have the Allen with me or out of the other ATVs because I've already put them away. What you're going to do is have to go ahead and get this box out. And if you notice, you got the front wheels are complete square. That's your brake drum right there. We got all the other parts. Everything is strapped, and these are going to come apart as easy as just go ahead and twist them apart. It's some kind of, looks like wire coated something or other. Some kind of stuff they use for shipping. And it's just that easy. That's all the next step. We're just going to go through. Go ahead and take all this apart. There's your brake mechanism, so we're just going to lay that down nice and gentle. We're going to get this box out. This one is going to contain important paperwork. It's also going to contain the actual toolkit. And what we're going to do is go ahead and retrieve the Allen wrench to undo that 1 bolt at the top so we can pull this cage off. Alright guys, now after you unpackage it, you're just going to pull off the tires. Everything kind of twists. They use them electrical cord type tie downs. It's nothing major. Once you unpack everything, you're going to try to get everything you can away from the ATV. The next step is to find these, and these are what they're doing is holding it down. It's supposed to be bolted. It's bolting the axle down to the frame in the rear. Unfortunately, as you see, this is some of the stuff you're going to deal with the Chinese quality. Maybe it wasn't double checked leaving the factory. That was literally hand tight. Just remove these. The other piece are going to stay on here. The other side, I don't know if you can see it, but it's right over there. That side was completely missing. That's the rear to unpack it from the frame itself. We're back up here to the front, and we're going to go ahead and finish releasing this ATV from its little frame on this crate that gets it shipped in from China. What we're going to do is use just a 10mm wrench. Ratchet would work, anything you got. Ratchet wrenches would actually be nice. Forgot to grab mine out the shop, so we're just doing this out here. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and unscrew this, and what it does, releases it from the frame. Go ahead and retain these bolts for a moment. Let's until we finish removing everything. Make sure you do one, and then you're going to go ahead and take this one off. And this ATV should be definitely free of the little angle iron frame that it's in. You notice, now that I've freed this thing from the crate, we got this thing on 2 little tiny cinder blocks. It's easier to kind of lift the rear up the way it is. For me, one-handed and slide up one block, grab another block, slide it under there. And what the goal is, getting this thing high enough to go ahead. So I'm able to remove the cotter pin, remove the castle nut, and we're going to go ahead and pull the washer that's coming up next. Pull the washer out, and then back here is going to be like your little spring type washer. And now the next part's a very easy one. Grab a wheel, make sure you got the direction of the tires pointing in the right way. Alright, line her up with the splines. I kind of rock mine side to side so I can make sure that it's on there, and I apologize guys, I know you're not exactly wanting to view an entire tire. Right now this is the easy part. We just put it reverse order. Put the little spring washer, flat washer, castle nut, and tighten this down accordingly, so then you're able to go ahead and reinstall the cotter pin itself. Now that I have one wheel done, what I'm going to do is just go ahead onto the other side off camera, and I'll go ahead and take care of that side as well. Alright, well what I did was I went ahead and grabbed, this is a 30mm socket. Putting it on here, and what I'm going to do is just go ahead, I grabbed my bad ratchet. It has a tendency to want to reverse on me. But what I'm doing is just go ahead and getting this thing snug. Once I have it snug, just double check the hole for the castle nut. I'm just a hair off. There we go. Either you're too tight, there we go, or it's too loose. But now that I have the castle nut locked down, just going to grab the simple cotter pin. Go ahead and put that right into the hole. And as many of y'all, if you haven't done this before, all you got to do is take and bend your cotter pin outward. And what I do is go around the castle nut and do the same for the other side. Just wrap it around the bottoms nice and tight. Sometimes you can take a small ball peen hammer, tap them down. Sometimes, just depending on the case, like right now, I'll just go ahead and just, because this is such soft metal, the cotter pins are. Yes, it's not a hammer, but this is one of my throwaway ratchets. Huskies actually replaced them, not from this damage. They just naturally wear out. I've had these about 6 years. So once we go ahead and get the castle nut on, this is completely done. We're going to go ahead and slide the little dust cap on. Make sure it's all the way down flush. Kind of got to play with them sometimes. There we go. That's on tight. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and this is a tip for y'all guys. Go to the auto parts store and buy one of these little valve core tools. Go ahead and tighten them up. And I'm telling you now, every one of yours is going to be extremely loose. That's what I found out on the other one that I assembled. So now this is completely done. We'll go ahead and knock out the other side and get started on the front. Or actually, we're going to go ahead and do the rear rack assembly. The brake light, plus this is also going to hold the rear rack in place. Just line her up. It's 2 bolts per side. On the right side, you're going to find that there's a strap that holds the muffler in place. One of the bolts will be halfway in there. And this is pretty well simple. Just reach up underneath. What I found doing the last one, to get 1 bolt started per side, then or go ahead and do 2 on one side, then you're able to at least keep it up in the air You can do little adjustments. It's got little slots for back and forth. So that's basically this side done. What I'm going to do is go ahead. I'll do this other side, and like I said, they just go right up underneath. Line her up, and you're going to have a little tricky time, but getting it through both the other little pieces for the muffler, and that's all it is. Now that is fully in place. What I got to do is just go ahead and tighten that down. Let me tighten these down fully. All right. Now that we got the entire rear frame set up with the brake light installed, and what we're going to do is inside the box for Tao, what you're going to notice is your battery, your owner's manual, your toolkit that would go on the ATV. You're going to find some nuts and bolts in a little bag in this like little round bar with some flat ends. What we're going to do is we're going to take the part that has the up and down adjustment slot, and what we're going to do is come right here, simple bolt. We'll go ahead and take the nut with the lock washer, and I do recommend, which I'm going to do this off camera, I'm just doing for demonstration. What I'm going to do is go ahead and grab my big bottle of blue Loctite, as I've been doing, and Loctiting everything in place. Even these technically have lock washers. I don't trust the grade of them. They are just going to be a cheap lock washer. So for just that quality assurance, go ahead and Loctite this down. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and do all 4 of them all the way around. So that way we have 4 complete standing like little soldiers there. So we can go ahead and attach it down to the rear cargo rack. Alright guys, now that we have the subframe put in, what we're going to do before we go ahead and install this cargo rack, we're going to go ahead and reach up on the left side. You're going to have 3 wires, and they're going to be all color coded, and you're going to find the other half of the pigtail coming off the main wiring harness. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hook up those 3 wires. There might change from vehicle to vehicle, but they're all going to be color coded the same. Now that we have the little legs inserted on the cargo rack, all we're going to do is go ahead and remove the left side and the right side. There's going to be 2 bolts per piece. We're going to pull them out of the way, flip over your rack, and just go ahead and start inserting these. And once you get one worked in, they literally just goes pretty well easily all the way around. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and start all these, grab my big bottle of Loctite, drop a little bit on the threads, and go ahead and finish them, snug them up, and this cargo rack and everything on the rear will be completely finished. We'll go ahead and move to the front and knock that out real quick. Getting ready to call this done, where the front end is about to become a roller, and to assemble the front end is pretty well easy. You got a nut and bolt here on the lower control arm. If you notice, you got 2 holes. Go ahead and assemble it in the same hole that the nut and bolt came in, which for my model, it was on the lower hole. And it just takes a little playing, sometimes a little rocking. Go ahead and get it all the way through. Sometimes you can push it through, sometimes you got to twist it. Put some blue Loctite and install the little nut on the bolt. Go ahead and grab your steering rod. You're going to have a cotter pin here at the bottom. You're going to pull your cotter pin out, set it aside. You're going to have the castle nut and a little lock washer right behind it. This step's pretty well easy as well. Just go ahead and grab your spindle and line them up. Sometimes this takes a little finessing. Shouldn't have to hit it or nothing, just push it in. And what you're going to do is just reinstall it backwards. You're going to put in the lock washer, put the castle nut on, getting it tight, and go ahead and install the cotter pin. Now that we have everything right now on the front end together, so technically it's complete. What we're going to do, just go ahead and remove the cotter pin. The cotter pin just is basically stuck in there. We'll take out the castle nut. We're going to remove that washer, and what we got next is the brake assembly, and this is pretty well easy. Just literally slides on, goes all the way back, and it should, I'm trying to see where it's at, and it's got like a little tab on the back. You'll notice the brake assembly just, there it goes, just fits like on this little tab on the back. They all kind of mesh together, and that's completely done. The next step, what we're going to do is go ahead and grab the front wheel and go ahead and assemble that wheel. Let me go ahead and get this camera set up for the next shot, and I'll show you how easy it is for that. Now that we got the front brake assembly done on this side, and you would do the same for the other, grab your wheel, make sure you have the tire rotation correctly. On the wheels, you're going to have the brake drum pre-installed. So all you're going to do is take it, line it up with the spindle, and just go ahead and push it on. We're going to go ahead and push this on the whole entire way, which I'm going to do this off camera because I have to finagle it. You've assembled the entire front end now that you're a roller. I have not yet set this on the ground, and the reason is we're going to do the last 2 things real quick. go ahead into that box, the Tao box, the little white one that you should have with your four-wheeler. You're going to have basically 4 of these. You're going to have 2 without bolts and 2 that are going to be with bolts. What we're going to do is we're going to lift this up, place one cradle on the bottom, take the other one with the bolts, go ahead and line them up, and what you're going to do is just make it easy and kind of lift up, find the little hole, and get everything started. Once you got one started, the other one usually goes pretty easy. Like I said, sometimes you got to kind of just move them around, fidget them. Don't drop your Allen wrench. That's kind of a tip right there. But let's go ahead and we got the other one. Same thing. Take this. Don't pinch any cables. Go ahead and get these screws started. And once you got them started good, they usually you can go pretty deep. Just hand tighten them. And what I'm going to do, retrieve the Allen wrench. I apologize for that. Go ahead and lift the bars, and you can set them kind of however you want. But for right now, what I do, I like my bars a little bit more straighter. Go ahead and lock either the back or the front. All right. Go ahead and lock. Now we got everything as a roller. We got the last 2 steps. We're going to install the foot guards, and what you're going to see is how this is going to fall in place here. You got to get this lip. You got to get this plastic lip under here on this, and that usually is a little pain. You just kind of got to work with it, finesse it. I have not really found an easy method to do this, but this is really about it, and it kind of snaps together. And what you're going to end up doing is there's a long bolt that's going to come in the little clear bag. There's going to be a long bolt and a nut that go here, and the 2 short ones here. Same thing on this other corner. There's 1 long one, 2 little short ones, 2 short ones here that goes through the bottom, the metal part of this. Everything will get locked down. Then that's all it takes. And what you're gonna get access through here for the drain or the oil fill up plug and a couple of different things. And this is gonna keep your feet from wanting to slide into the motor. Right. Now we're down to the front rack. We're almost done. As you remember, there was when we were uncrating this, there was some bolts down here that was attached to the crate. Definitely keep them, because what it is, you're gonna have the 2s here, and you're gonna have a nut and bolt that would have came on one on each side. And what those are going to be is for the whole rack. And all you're going to do, you can start at the bottom, put one on one side, and the bottom is adjustable, so that way you can adjust it up and down. So we'll just start threading one in. You're going to take your other one, line it up, go ahead and start it up. You're going to flip up the whole thing, and you're going to come in and put the other nut and bolt right here, and it's going to basically create something like this. Let me move y'all guys back. Sorry guys. And that's really how this is going to be done. Let me go ahead and tighten up all 4 of these. Actually, I'm just going to leave them loose. The next part's going to go on here, and that's the other rack. And what we got is a bolt through the side, and we're going to have one, I believe it's the side ones, and another one that connect to make up the whole complete front rack. Alright guys, so we're about to be riding this thing, literally. My buddy's finishing up tightening the last of the side bolts. I left all 4 of the front guard bolts in, and what I'm going to do is grab the front rack. There's 2 bolts here, and you've got the little tabs on the front. The tabs are going to have a bolt that's put in on one on each side, and they are torqued down. I'm warning y'all now. Like, literally, there should be no reason they should be that torqued in for shipping reasons or anything, because all they did was just sit in there. I should have actually loosened these beforehand on camera. But what we're going to do is go ahead and, wow, these gnarly bolts. Going to go ahead and loosen these. Thank you, buddy. Leaving everything loose because you want to keep everything, you want to be able to line it up, whatever the case is going to be. Alright, I'll go ahead and get this flipped. You'll notice there's, in the front body panel, there's like a little indentation for like a little hole, and what that is for it to sit down on. I've got these, let me go ahead and get these set up. Ooh. If you would, get that lined up for me. This is why you leave everything loose. An assistant definitely helps. Oh, there you go. And what we're doing, we're just lining this up with the front, what do you call this, brush guard? Yep. There you go. Alright, that's it right there. That's tightened. We're going to take, where do we go? There's mine, there's yours. We're going to go, there's a little post right here on the front. We're going to go in, we're going to put these from the bottom side. This thing is completely assembled. It's done. The battery is full of acid, and you're not sure how to fill a battery up with acid. Go in my playlist. I have a video I did a long time ago when I did my bobber build. It explains it in there. It's basically, the video is titled "How to Fill a Lead Acid Battery." Guys, I appreciate you watching. This is for my second channel, Masses-Outdoors. I have several of these that I purchased. This is the last one that we needed to assemble. We got my buddy Jason here. Everybody give him a thumbs up. I appreciate his help. He's actually assembled these for a local company for a while. He came in when I was almost done with this one to help me assist in getting it finished. But maybe stay tuned to next week when I'll show you a video of me actually riding this one. For a $1,350 machine, this is completely, that's including shipping, everything. I bought it from the distributor that brings them into the United States, out of Texas. They had it shipped to Florida. You got to see when I say this thing for a 250 is decent size. For comparison, I'm standing next to it, and you see how much ground clearance I have. This is going to be fun. Like I said, check out my new channel that I'm creating. There's not playlists yet, but I'm slowly going to start adding them. It's Masses-Outdoors. Guys, as always, thumbs up. I appreciate you watching. Thank you so much.